Back into. Meaning, to enter a parking space or situation in reverse. Example, he skillfully backed into the tight parking spot. Example, she accidentally backed into the trash cans. Barge into. Meaning, to enter a place rudely or forcefully. Example, she accidentally barged into the room without realizing it was occupied. Example, the angry customer barged into the store demanding a refund. Bog into. Meaning, to eat enthusiastically or with great appetite. Example, after the long hike, they were ready to bog into the delicious meal. Example, the family decided to bog into the feast prepared for the celebration. Book into. Meaning, to reserve a room or place in advance. Example, they decided to book into the resort for their vacation. Example, the group will book into the conference venue for the annual meeting. Bounce into. Meaning, to collide with unexpectedly or impulsively. Example, be careful not to bounce into people while rushing through the crowd. Example, the energetic puppy tends to bounce into furniture without realizing it. Breeze into. Meaning, to enter casually or confidently. Example, he decided to breeze into the meeting as if nothing happened. Example, the celebrity casually breezed into the event, attracting attention. Bump into. Meaning, to encounter someone unexpectedly. Example, I didn't expect to bump into you at the grocery store. Example, while exploring the city, they bumped into their old friend from college. Burst into. Meaning, to suddenly enter a place or start doing something energetically. Example, the kids burst into the room, excited about the surprise. Example, she burst into laughter when she heard the amusing story. Buy into. Meaning, to believe or accept an idea or concept. Example, it's essential to have employees who buy into the company's vision. Example, some investors may be hesitant to buy into the new technology. Check into. Meaning, to investigate or examine something. Example, the authorities decided to check into the allegations of corruption. Example, the team decided to check into the details of the competitor's marketing strategy. Come into. Meaning, to inherit or receive something, such as money or property. Example, she recently came into a sizable inheritance from a distant relative. Example, the family came into possession of an old manuscript with historical significance. Come into use. Meaning, to start being used or adopted. Example, the new software is expected to come into use by the end of the month. Example, energy-efficient technologies are slowly coming into use in the construction industry. Creep into. Meaning, to enter or become a part of gradually. Example, a sense of anxiety started to creep into the atmosphere during the meeting. Example, technology has slowly crept into every aspect of our daily lives. Dig into. Meaning, to delve deeply into a subject or activity. Example, researchers decided to dig into the archives to uncover historical documents. Example, the students were encouraged to dig into the literature to gain a deeper understanding. Dip into. Meaning, to casually read or sample a small portion of something. Example, I decided to dip into the book to see if it captured my interest. Example, let's dip into the variety of snacks and see which ones we like. Dive into. Meaning, to delve deeply into a subject or activity. Example, researchers decided to dive into the data to uncover hidden patterns. Example, the students were eager to dive into the literature and explore different perspectives. Drill into. Meaning, to investigate or examine thoroughly. Example, the detective decided to drill into the details of the mysterious case. Example, auditors were hired to drill into the financial records for accuracy and compliance. Drum into. Meaning, to repeat or emphasize something frequently to ensure understanding. Example, the teacher had to drum the important safety rules into the students' minds. Example, parents often drum good manners and etiquette into their children from an early age. Eat into. Meaning, to use up or consume a portion of something, often resources, or time. Example, unexpected delays can eat into the time allocated for the project. Example, overspending on non-essential items can eat into your monthly budget. Enter into. Meaning, to engage in or participate in an agreement, relationship, or discussion. Example, the two companies decided to enter into a strategic partnership for mutual benefits. Example, couples often seek counseling before deciding to enter into a long-term commitment. Fall into. Meaning, to enter a particular state or condition. Example, if you neglect your health, you may fall into a cycle of fatigue and illness. Example, some individuals unexpectedly fall into successful careers they hadn't initially planned. Fit into. Meaning, to find a place or role within a specific context. Example, the puzzle piece had an unusual shape but eventually managed to fit into the overall picture. Example, it's essential for employees to understand how their tasks fit into the broader organizational goals. Fly into. Meaning, to enter a state or condition suddenly, often with strong emotions. Example, he seemed calm at first, but he could easily fly into a rage if provoked. Example, winning a surprise award can cause someone to fly into a state of euphoria. Get back into. Meaning, to re-engage or resume an activity or routine. Example, after a hiatus, she decided to get back into painting and rediscover her passion. Example, following an injury, athletes work hard to get back into peak physical condition. Get into. Meaning, to become involved or interested in a particular activity or field. Example, many students aspire to get into prestigious universities to pursue their academic goals. Example, people often discover new hobbies and passions as they get into various leisure activities. Go into. Meaning, to enter or examine in detail, often referring to a topic or subject. Example, researchers go into specific aspects of a study to gain a comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon. Example, when exploring historical events, historians go into archives to uncover valuable documents and records. Grind into. Meaning, to embed or impress something firmly into a surface or material. Example, the repeated foot traffic can grind dirt and debris into the carpets, requiring thorough cleaning. Example, artisans may use specialized tools to grind patterns into metal surfaces for decorative purposes. Grow into. Meaning, to mature or develop into a particular state or condition. Example, children may receive clothing that is slightly too big, allowing them to grow into the garments over time. Example, ideas and concepts introduced in early stages of a project may grow into more refined strategies as development progresses. Hack into. Meaning, to gain unauthorized access to a computer system or network. Example, ethical hackers use their skills to identify vulnerabilities and strengthen security by simulating potential cyber threats. Example, unauthorized individuals who hack into systems face legal consequences for breaching privacy and security protocols. Hammer into. Meaning, to impress or instill a particular idea, lesson, or concept through repetition. Example, Parents often hammer into their children the importance of honesty and integrity in their interactions. Example: educational programs aim to hammer into students essential knowledge and skills that form a strong foundation for their future. Hook into. Meaning: to connect or link with something, often involving technology or systems. Example: consumers can easily hook into online platforms to access a wide range of products, services, and information. Example: technological advancements enable devices to hook into networks seamlessly, providing users with enhanced connectivity and functionality. Lash into. Meaning: to criticize or attack someone verbally or harshly. Example: in a heated argument, individuals may lash into each other, expressing frustration and anger without restraint. Example: critics may lash into a poorly received movie, highlighting flaws and shortcomings in their reviews. Lay into. Meaning: to criticize or reprimand someone harshly, to verbally attack. Example: a coach may lay into players for lackluster performance, urging them to improve and meet expectations. Example: public figures may face scrutiny from the media, as journalists lay into their actions, decisions, or statements. Log into. Meaning: similar to log in, to enter a computer system or online platform. Example: students were instructed to log into the virtual classroom using the provided credentials for the online lecture. Example: participants must log into the webinar platform ahead of time to ensure a smooth and punctual start to the virtual event. Look into. Meaning: to investigate or examine a matter or situation. Example: authorities promised to look into the allegations of misconduct, ensuring a thorough and impartial investigation. Example: when encountering a technical issue, IT specialists will promptly look into the problem to identify and resolve any underlying issues. Luck into. Meaning: to unexpectedly and luckily acquire or encounter something. Example: during their road trip, they lucked into discovering a charming little town with unique attractions. Example: some people luck into finding valuable items at thrift stores, turning it into a delightful surprise. Make into. Meaning: to transform or convert something into a different form or state. Example: artists often use recycled materials to make old items into unique and environmentally friendly sculptures. Example: with determination and effort, he aimed to make his passion into a successful career. Move into. Meaning: to enter or occupy a new residence, building, or location. Example: the family was thrilled to move into their dream house, celebrating the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Example, before deciding to move into a new city, individuals often research job opportunities, cost of living, and community amenities. Muscle into. Meaning, similar to muscle in, to intrude or interfere in a situation, often with assertiveness. Example, the large corporation decided to muscle into the emerging market, attempting to dominate the industry with aggressive marketing strategies. Example, individuals should avoid trying to muscle into discussions or projects where their involvement may not be constructive or welcome. Opt into. Meaning, similar to opt-in, to choose to participate or subscribe to a particular service, program, or communication. Example, users can easily opt into the new loyalty program to enjoy exclusive benefits and rewards offered by the company. Example, before joining the webinar, participants have the option to opt into interactive discussions or simply listen to the presentation. Pay into. Meaning, to contribute money to a fund, account, or investment. Example, employees often have the option to pay into retirement accounts, ensuring financial security during their later years. Example, parents may decide to pay into educational savings plans to support their children's future academic endeavors. Pile into. Meaning, similar to pile in, to enter or squeeze into a space, often used to describe a crowded situation. Example, at the family reunion, relatives began to pile into the cozy living room, sharing laughter and stories. Example, after the event, attendees started to pile into the narrow exit, creating a temporary bottleneck. Plow into. Meaning, to collide or crash into something, often with force or impact. Example, the distracted driver failed to brake in time, causing the vehicle to plow into the rear of the stopped car. Example, strong winds caused the ship to lose control, leading it to plow into the dock, resulting in significant damage. Plow into. Meaning, similar to plow into, to collide or crash into something, often with force or impact. Example, the icy road conditions caused multiple vehicles to lose control and plow into each other, resulting in a pileup. Example, pilots undergo extensive training to ensure they can navigate safely, preventing aircraft from plowing into obstacles during takeoff and landing. Press into. Meaning, to exert force or pressure onto something or someone. Example, the strong wind began to press into the sails, propelling the sailboat forward across the open water. Example, when attempting to open a stubborn jar, it's common to press into the lid to break the seal and make it easier to twist. Rope into. Meaning, similar to rope in, referring to persuading or convincing someone to do something. Example, despite initial reluctance, they successfully roped their friend into joining the spontaneous road trip, creating unforgettable memories. Example, it's essential to build trust and credibility to avoid being roped into situations or commitments that may not align with personal goals. Run into. Meaning, to encounter or meet someone or something unexpectedly. Example, while exploring the city, they were delighted to run into an old friend from college who had also decided to visit. Example, individuals often run into interesting opportunities and experiences when exploring new places or trying out different activities. Rush into. Meaning, to proceed hastily or without thorough consideration, often making decisions impulsively. Example, it's crucial not to rush into major life decisions, such as career changes or relationships, without careful thought and planning. Example, in business, companies may face challenges if they rush into launching products without conducting sufficient market research and analysis. Sail into. Meaning, to approach or begin a task or situation energetically or with determination. Example, with a positive mindset, the team decided to sail into the challenging project, confident in their ability to overcome obstacles. Example, facing a demanding schedule, she chose to sail into the work week with enthusiasm and a proactive attitude. Scrape into. Meaning, to barely achieve or gain entry to a particular situation or category. Example, with a score just above the passing threshold, the student managed to scrape into the advanced level course for the semester. Example, the underdog team scraped into the playoffs by winning crucial games in the final stretch of the season. See into. Meaning, to investigate or look into a matter or situation more deeply. Example, the detective was assigned to see into the mysterious disappearance of valuable artifacts from the museum. Example, when facing complex problems, leaders may choose to assemble a team to see into the root causes and develop effective solutions. Sign into. Meaning, to log into a system, platform, or website by providing necessary credentials. Example, users need to sign into their accounts to access personalized features and settings on the online platform. Example, when attempting to use the app on a new device, you'll be prompted to sign into your account for security verification. Slip into. Meaning, to put on or wear something quickly and easily. Example, before heading out, she decided to slip into her comfortable sneakers, preparing for a casual and leisurely stroll. Example, when attending a formal event, individuals often take the time to slip into elegant attire, ensuring a polished and sophisticated appearance. Suck into. Meaning, to be deceived or tricked into believing something. Example, consumers should be cautious not to be sucked into misleading advertising that promises unrealistic results. Example, individuals may get sucked into online scams if they're not vigilant and don't verify the legitimacy of offers. Talk into. Meaning, to persuade or convince someone to do something. Example, despite initial hesitation, he managed to talk his friend into joining him on the adventurous road trip. Example, the salesperson skillfully talked the customer into upgrading to a more advanced and feature-rich product. Tap into. Meaning, to access or utilize a source of information, knowledge, or resources. Example, with advancements in technology, researchers can tap into vast databases to analyze trends and patterns. Example, successful entrepreneurs often tap into their networks to gain valuable insights and support for their ventures. Tear into. Meaning, to criticize or attack someone or something vehemently. Example, during the debate, opponents were quick to tear into each other's arguments, creating a charged atmosphere. Example, critics may tear into a film's plot or performances in their reviews, providing both praise and constructive criticism. Throw yourself into. Meaning, to engage or immerse oneself deeply in an activity or endeavor. Example, when faced with a challenging project, she decided to throw herself into it, dedicating extra time and effort for success. Example, after a difficult breakup, he chose to throw himself into his work to distract from the emotional pain. Tuck into. Meaning, to eat heartily or with great enthusiasm. Example, when presented with their favorite dishes, the guests were delighted to tuck into the feast and enjoy the culinary delights. Example, gathering around the picnic table, the friends were eager to tuck into the variety of snacks and treats. Turn into. Meaning, to transform or change into a different form, state, or condition. Example, the caterpillar undergoes metamorphosis to turn into a beautiful butterfly, showcasing the wonders of nature. Example, with the right conditions, raw ingredients can turn into a delicious meal when prepared by a skilled chef. Wade into. Meaning, to physically enter a body of water and move through it. Example, on a hot summer day, families gathered at the beach to wade into the refreshing ocean water and enjoy a cooling swim. Example, during the fishing trip, the anglers decided to wade into the shallow river, seeking the best spots for casting their lines. Walk into. Meaning, to enter a place or situation, often without being aware of the details or consequences. Example, entering the mysterious cave, the explorers were cautious as they didn't know what they might walk into. Example, starting a new job can be challenging, especially when you're not sure what kind of work environment you'll walk into on the first day. Whip into. Meaning, to enter or proceed quickly and energetically. Example, the project manager needed the team to whip into action to meet the tight deadline for the client presentation. Example, when a sudden opportunity arose, the entrepreneur had to whip into action and make rapid decisions to capitalize on the moment.